So I'm just giving it a second to actually catch up. You know, it's like a 20-second delay whenever you start a live video. Because, baby, we about to unpack the police report that was filed against me by Raina Sacco and Lee Feldman. First, let me say, these motherfuckers cannot know me. I don't know why. I don't know who advised them. I don't know who told them that they was going to win. Or that this was even going to turn out well for them. But I kid y'all not. I've not had to do anything because they keep laying this shit in my lap. So since they want to keep laying this shit in my lap, we're going to talk about it. We're going to unpack it. So first, the police report was filed on September the 14th at 5:43. So that was the next afternoon, the next evening. So you so and feel your life, but it wasn't even filed till 5:43 in the evening. And I'm going to go back because I think I drugged the fuck out of them all day. And that's what that was. But we're going to go back and I'm going to be able to speak on that freely. But let's get to the police report. Y'all know I'm going to give my commentary because I got to break it down with receipts. So it states, on the above date and time, I was contacted by Detective Captain A. Fedetta, who requested I be en route to City Hall to speak to Gainesville City Commissioner Raina Sacco in reference to a threat made against the commissioner by citizen Shanae Jackson. Before I go any further, let me remind y'all who Captain Fedetta is. That's the son of a bitch that I had to cuss out about my daddy on May the 7th, 2020, when they went and sent a SWAT team inside of my daddy them little house with my 4 nieces in there, all under the age of 10, with guns pointed, and they smashed out all of their windows. Instead of just knocking on the door or opening the door, because the door is always goddamn it open. So let's be clear. What took place is I got a phone call from over here in Ocala and told me to get over there. And you know, when it's pertaining to my daddy, I'm going to get my ass wherever I need to be. Got over there. They refused to give me the search warrant. Got over there. They refused to leave any of the stuff that is related to them. Got over there. There was a gun in a vehicle, not at the house, that they were trying to place or put on somebody. And I shut them down and let them know under constructive possession, there's no way for you to even do that. So they was already in their feelings. When we went to GPD and met with Fedetta and Chief Tony Jones, I got a whole live video about it. Well, I drugged that son of a bitch. What is so ironic is Fedetta actually has a track record of perjury. He still got his job. But what's going to happen is, and I'm going to get to why I ended up leaving that alone because other things happened for me to pull his file. So now, that's another public record request in addition to the 5 that I already did. Because then I'm going to do a live and we're going to sit and we're going to talk about Ferrero and all that happened. I want you all to know that I filed a complaint. I asked for body cam footage. They spliced together 7 minutes and told me that was all that they can give me because it was an open investigation. Well, the investigation done now, baby. So I'm going to go back and get all the body cam footage. Also, I got questions. How much did it cost taxpayers to send a SWAT team to a house where all they found was a few oxycodone that my daddy was taking to self-medicate because he had a bone infection and vascular surgery, denoted it in the medical records, but not give him any pain medication? We're going to talk about healthcare bullshit on another day. How much taxpayers' dollars was spent for you to get the money out of my dad's pocket and lie and say it was a bundle of bills as if your drugs were sold when he was able to provide the check stub and they were fresh, crisp bills where he had just gone to the bank and cashed a check? How many taxpayers' dollars do you think? Because I know we was there for about 6 hours. They had the entire SWAT team, guns, everything else. How much did it cost taxpayers for investigation? How much did it cost taxpayers for prosecution? How much did it cost taxpayers for this? I'm going to get the answer, and then we're going to sit down, and we're going to talk about how they waste taxpayers' money. And literally, the only reason that my dad even decided to take probation for the pills, because that's who he is. I told y'all from the very beginning, when they kicked the door in, my dad too real, he going to tell you. And I've been clear. My dad used to sell dope, and he used to be good at it. We were hood rich. This ain't no secret. So even to bring this up, because it's going to come up further along in the damn police report, we want to get that out there before I say the rest of the shit that I'm about to say. So since we clear, and we already know, on the day that happened, I took them up and through there and made, what's his face? For that, are very accountable. Because he's sitting there stating, well, you don't live at the house. It don't matter. You say you live at my daddy. He not registered anything in the house. Literally getting mad. I pissed him off so bad because I drugged him in the meeting with Chief Jones. He got up and stormed out. Also, people reached out to him. People reached out to Feldman. And that lets you know they talk behind the scenes because we on that bullshit, but they messing with the wrong person. But we're going to keep going because the last thing we talked about is Fidelio. So Captain Ferretta advised that threats were made via Facebook, but he did not have details about whose page was posted to and the specifics of the threats. The posts were recent, per the information he was given from Chief Tony Jones, who had received the information from City Manager Lee Feldman. City Manager Feldman requested someone from the police department to respond to City Hall to investigate the post. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if y'all go back and look at any of the meters, his little turtle-looking ass be half asleep and act like he half woke. But now your turtle-looking ass got some goddamn energy. His little turtle-looking ass don't even have the goddamn energy to even defend himself because he knows he's full of shit and he's a crook. But we're going to keep going. Coincidentally, the officer that wrote this report is the one that I was sitting next to at City Hall. He said I worked the Gainesville City Commission meeting on 9/13/2021 from 4 p.m. until 2 a.m. I recall Shanae Jackson being present at the meeting, who seemed to be rather vocal during public comment portions of the meeting. I also remember an older female citizen, later determined to be Faye Williams, had made statements about some of the commission being white supremacists and the mayor was the dictator. Williams appeared to be friends with Jackson, who assisted her with playing a song on her cell phone. Williams was also wearing a purple t-shirt supporting Commissioner Duncan Walker. During Williams' public comment, she called out multiple members on the panel on several points. Williams made a statement to Commissioner Sacco saying she, meaning Sacco, would accuse her, Williams, about being anti-Semitic. Williams followed up with saying, "Meet me outside. I'll tell you about anti-Semitic." Commissioner Sacco asked the question at that point, "Is that a threat?" Williams did not answer her, but continued with her statements. Prior to her going over to City Hall, I was not certain if the incident had anything to do with the threats against Commissioner Sacco. Note, I watched the video after the fact in order to obtain direct quotes and confirm Williams' name. I looked at Raina Sacco's personal Facebook page and her City of Gainesville Commissioner page profile to locate threatening posts. I did not see any posts made by Shanae Jackson on either page or any threatening posts made by anyone else. I then searched for Shanae Jackson on Facebook and found multiple pages of hers. I did locate one which had posts about the meeting on 9/13. In looking at the post, I noticed the following were of interest. Let me find out. I might have to go to 3333 for literally dragging Commissioner Raina Sacco. She didn't know I was still in the lobby. She got reminded though. Posted at approximately 22:44 hours on 9/13. We're going to keep going. There were multiple comments to this post where people discussed what she posted and why she felt the way. It seemed Jackson stressed she was fine, and the point she wanted to get across was that she wanted to let Sacco know she was still in the lobby, and Sacco was talking about her. There did not appear to be any continued speech indicating any intent to follow through on any acts of violence. Let's keep going. I then located a more recent post on her timeline, which was posted at 11:04 a.m. on 9/14. The post is as follows. Let me post this so a screenshot can be preserved. Commissioner Raina Sacco tried to come for me and Commissioner Gail Johnson at last night's meeting, as she tried to justify paying hush money to City Manager Lee Feldman. She did not know I was still in the building as she threw her tantrum. I politely entered the room and made it quite clear that I was still there and in the lobby if she had something to say to or about me. I would say that she humbled down and was quiet for the rest of the meeting though. Somebody better tell Raina I do not subscribe to respectability. I will literally drag her and be smiling on the mugshot. If Senator Keith Parris can sucker punch someone about a sign, I can drag her about gaslighting and disrespecting my people. Hashtag catch me outside. The 7 comments from friends only pertained to how funny they thought it was, along with the multiple different hashtags. There were no other comments by Jackson with this specific post. I then drove to Gainesville City Hall, where I met with Commissioner Sacco in person at her office. Guess who was in the damn office with Commissioner Sacco? City Manager Lee Feldman. Remember, I told y'all that I have a public records request coming because City Manager Lee Feldman, Raina Sacco, Nick Gonzalez, and Adrian Hayes Santos hang out outside of work and be talking about work, which is a criminal offense. I'm just saying. Isn't it ironic that the city manager that an independent investigator stated committed retaliation against City of Gainesville employees is the person that's in the mix of all of this? But don't forget Mayor Poe, because it's been made very clear that he's been trying to be in the mix of this by phone calls, which is the reason that in my public records request, I included that if there was a phone conversation that was actually made, I want a statement on what that phone conversation actually was. Because they want to have all the goddamn sense and ain't got none. But hold on. So, City Manager Lee Feldman was present initially, but then returned to his office. Commissioner Sacco provided me with a printout of the Facebook post from Shanae Jackson's Facebook page, which were identical to the ones I previously reviewed. I activated the department-issued phone's recording app with the evidence.com and asked Commissioner Sacco how all this was discovered. Sacco advised she was texted by TV20 reporter Dylan Lyons. Remember Dylan Lyons? Remember, I drugged that son of a bitch too. That is the one that went to Diane McGraw's daughter's graduation and accosted her. And after Diane asked multiple times, repeatedly to get the camera out of their face, moved along when he incited her. That's the report that TV20 ran. Remember, everybody's like, oh, he panders angry black women. As I stated, no, the narrative needs to be, why did he feel entitled enough to go intervene on her personal time with her family? And why did he feel entitled enough to not have to back off and to back down when she asked him nicely? Because that's the conversation that we need to be having. Why is it okay to keep disrespecting black women? And then when we respond, everybody want to dictate how we respond. But remember, I had y'all to call and text and email Dylan them. They didn't expect that when I asked you all to do something, that you all would do it. And then many people started to refuse to give Dylan interviews. But we gonna keep going. Commissioner Sacco states she was not aware of these threats and was told where to find them. Commissioner Sacco located the post on Jackson's page and printed them out. Commissioner Sacco advised she first conferred with another commissioner about whether or not this was something she should be concerned about. So you know what my public records request is? I want to know who the other commissioner is, and she has to say so. So we will also be able to find which other commissioner it is that's about to get drugged too. We're going to keep going. Oh, as she stated, she's a newer commissioner, and this has never happened before. Commissioner Sacco advised she has never had any direct contact with Jackson or been contacted by her before. Commissioner Sacco advised, hold on, my screen timed out. Advised she has never been threatened by Jackson or anyone else in the past. Commissioner Sacco advised she has known about Jackson in her reputation, particularly how Jackson is upset about her father's residence being raided by GPD SWAT for drug violations. Didn't I just break that down to y'all? What does that have to do with me getting into their ass about the shit that they do to all the people in the community? See what they do? And that's the stuff that I've been trying to do. Deflection. You don't want to talk about all of the shit that you do to fuck up society. All of the decisions that you make that make people feel like the only outlet that they have is to sell drugs. Do we want to go into that conversation right now? Raina Sacco and Ferrada and Lee Feldman? Because it's a conversation I love to hold. And I can bring the data in the research in order to support it. Why you think you're doing something by making that statement as if it's a statement that I won't make clearly. I clearly state, and I'm going to state in their chambers, it is exactly one of the reasons that I fight so hard. Because of this and bullshit like this right here. We'll keep going. And mind you, since it was GPD SWAT, they have access to the records to know they ain't find the goddamn thing. Matter of fact, let me tell you what they found. So also, additional point of reference. My dad had a lot of homeless people living at the house. It's always been like that. Where there's always been people that lived. My grandma was the same way as my dad's gotten older. Some of them in my family died or addicted to drugs. This ain't no secret. We all got them. My mama been addicted to drugs since I was 4 that I can remember. So this ain't no secret. We don't throw rocks and hide our hand over here. They found a crack pipe. They found a crack rock, which was in somebody's pants that fell out. What was so funny about it, the person who rock it was, he was trying to get it back. He asked the police for his rock back. So they tried to make that person be a co-defendant and lie and say that it was a residence where drugs was being sold, and the man refused to lie. He was like it was his rock, and he really wanted it back, but they wouldn't give it back. They found the fresh bills of money from my daddy cashed a check, and they found my brother's stimulus money. So while we talk about drug violations, tell her to tell the whole story. Because if we're going to tell it, you actually got access to the records before I do. But don't worry about it. I'm going to get it so that way I can share it with everybody. But we're going to keep going. Commissioner Sacco advised she did have concerns for her safety based on the post. Commissioner Sacco believes Jackson does have the potential for violence based on her character and who she associates with, her father's residence in a drug house. This shit is the funniest shit ever. So number one, anybody know my daddy know he one of the coolest people ever. He's always trying to talk me off of a ledge, but I am who I am. My dad used to always tell me how I was such an antagonist. Now he realizes the value of me being an antagonist is to blow up shit like this. But the fact, let me restate that again. So she says, I, Shanae Jackson, have a potential for violence based on her character and who she associates herself with, because my dad has a residence that is used as a drug house. So, number one, you're lying again, but you're the one that always say make statements based on fact. You're the one that always say know what you're talking about. So if we prove that my dad's house is not a drug house, then why is that what you told the officer? Number two, how many of y'all on this live know people that sell drugs, do drugs, or anything else? So does that mean that you have a potential for violence because you know and associate and love people that may sell drugs or do drugs? I've been very clear. In the black community back in the day, it was the dope dealer we all loved because it was the dope dealer that only gave a fuck about the black community. So as you sit and think you're coming for me with this statement, you're literally proving the point that I'm making, that you should not be a person making decisions for anybody. Because if you believe that the dismissed citizens about whether they sell or do drugs, then why are you the one with the power to make decisions for them? It don't make sense, which is another reason why a recall petition is so important. Let me keep going. Commissioner Sacco pulled up Jackson's clerk of the court history, appeared to be on a public site on her computer, and noticed there were multiple cases associated with Jackson. She noticed there were multiple misdemeanor and felony cases associated to her in Alachua County. Well, goddamn it, ain't you a lawyer? So if you're a lawyer, you know how to look at the clerk of the court, and you also know how to know that with everything that's associated with me, I ain't convicted of a goddamn thing. Oh, or you just left that part out because that part wasn't relevant. But if I was convicted of a goddamn thing, I'll say that too. I have sat on a live video and let people know, Lord knows they're glad that I've changed because I done did some shit. I done did some shit like smash a girl's windows out while she was sitting in her car. I done did some shit like take a baby daddy windows and smash them out with a hammer. So Shanae don't throw rocks again and hide her hand. We don't do some shit. But you ain't even relevant enough to do shit too. Literally, I'm having all the fun in the world, dragging you and showing you what a cocky, ignorant helper that you are. When you calling everybody else ignorant and stupid, you need to look in the mirror first. But let's keep going. So then she stated, he said, I advised Commissioner Sacco I would review the Facebook post further and confer with the state attorney's office to determine if they reach the threshold of criminal threat for cyber stalking or a criminal threat under the corruption by threat against a public servant. I provided Commissioner Sacco with my business card and the case report number. After I left, Commissioner Sacco let me know via text that she rewatched the 9/13/21 meeting again. Commissioner Sacco advised it was not clear, but it appeared when Jackson walked back in the room, part of the statement included, meet me outside or something to that effect. So then the helper called the officer back and bold-facedly lied. not even realizing that the officer she was trying to lie to was the officer I was standing next to as I came back in the room. Imagine that shit. But we're going to keep going. I cannot with these people. Hold on. So he advised that. So he said, coincidentally, Jackson's hashtag to the most recent post was "Catch Me Outside." "Catch Me Outside" is from a popular viral clip from the Old Dr. Phil show where a rebellious female teenager made the statement to the crowd who made fun of her during the show. It was applied as an indirect threat to meet me, a person outside, to fight. I later watched this segment of the 9/13 City Commission video, which began at 4 hours and 6 minutes. Commissioner Sacco began to make her comments during the portion of the agenda where City Manager Lee Feldman's severance pay was the topic. At one point, Jackson steps back into the room to let Sacco know she is still here. They have words about Jackson accusing Sacco of being privileged. Jackson and Commissioner Johnson then both make statements about how offensive the statements Commissioner Sacco is making. Mayor Poe intervenes to stop the back and forth, which ignites a conversation between Commissioner Johnson and Mayor Poe. During this incident, I did not hear any clear threats made by Jackson. I stood at the door during this actual incident and did not recall hearing any threats being made by Jackson to Commissioner Sacco. I remember I waited for Mayor Poe to order her to leave the meeting for being disruptive since she had already had her opportunity to talk during public portion of comment. That order was never given by Poe, and Jackson was allowed to remain in the building. So mind you, this interaction happened at the 4 hour and 6 minute mark. The meeting was 7.5 hours. So you mean it took you to the next day at 5 o'clock for you to feel like you was threatened? Oh, okay. But we're going to keep going. After leaving interview, I accessed the Facebook records post and completed an online preservation letter for Jackson's Facebook profile. On the above date, I checked Jackson's Facebook page to locate additional posts which may be threatening. I located a 35 plus minute Facebook live video posted at 11:30 on 9/14, where she talks about the issues with the city commission and what transpired during the September 13th meeting, and he posts the URL. There was a segment in the video where Jackson makes reference to dragging other members of the commission during other meetings in the past. It appeared that this was a figure of speech for her, where she essentially calling them out on several points and issues. Jackson does make a comment where she says Sacco is in her crosshairs because of her tantrum she put on in the meeting. I felt the crosshairs remark was not threatening in nature and merely stressed her intent to focus on Commissioner Sacco's actions and statements. Jackson advised that she would drag literally and proverbially. Jackson continues to talk about other issues with the city commission and past decisions. There appeared to be no specific or indirect threats made to anyone on the commission. Jackson appears to stress how she is pushing for change and how she intends to use her mind and words to do so. There was no mention to utilize force or violence to achieve her goals. I reviewed Jackson's Florida criminal history and noticed her last entry was in 2009. Then he goes into my offenses were driving while license suspended or revoked. Other one is felony welfare fraud. Let me talk about that while we're on the subject. Felony welfare fraud. I was receiving public assistance back in 2004. No, 2002. That's how long it's been. I worked for the school board of the Alachua County at that time. So because I was not a full year employee, I was only a 10-month employee, and I also lived on subsidized housing, I didn't have income over the summer. So I applied for food stamps when I wasn't working. When I reported that I went back to work, my rent and things went up. So my food stamp benefits only changed by a few dollars. So therefore I went on. Some years later, I received a yellow card in the mail telling me to turn myself in for this felony. So then the state kept trying to give me plea deals. I told them I'm not taking anything because I'm not doing anything wrong. I appropriately reported what I was supposed to report within the time frame. And it's not my fault that the case manager input the numbers in wrong. So we went and had a meeting with the state attorney and a representative from the Department of Children and Families. Do you know, because I'm very clear, and I was very clear on what took place and that they had my documents. Do you know that lady admitted in there that they had my documents on time, but somebody had to pay the money back? And I'll never forget his name. The state attorney's name was Sean Thompson. And Sean Thompson stated to her, why in the world would she expect for him to prosecute a case knowing I had not done anything wrong because of the workers' error? And so, of course, it was thrown out. I want to point that out because since that has happened, I have met at least 10 women, all of them black. One was older, in her 50s, when they arrested her. And each one of them was so scared, they took a plea deal and got a felony on their record for the Department of Children and Family screw up. That's our system, though. We're going to keep going. Resisting arrest or resisting an officer without violence. This charge had to be thrown out because the officer spelled my name wrong by spelling it Shanae. And then had the audacity to tell me that's what I told him. This goes to the bullshit in our system. And that is one of the reasons that I fight so much. Oh, and then the domestic battery. Girl, it's a worry. I ain't have more than one of them on there. But I'm going to keep going. And while we're on the subject, we might as well go all the way back. In 2003 and 4, there is some worthless checks. In 2003, there is a petty theft for failure to return a damn item from like rent-to-own places. I don't have shit to hide. So even as they're sitting here bringing in all of this information that is more than 12 years old, let's do it. Because this is what's wrong with the damn county. This is what's wrong with the damn city. And that's the whole point. They're institutions in order to hold people down, and then they want people not to be able to utilize their voice by trying to go back and always bring up their past like they're all perfect. And I ain't with it. And that's the reason I'm so authentic. Because when you're authentic and don't care what people think, nobody can tell your story better than you, Raina and Lee Feldman and Fidel. But we're going to keep going. Let me get back. Oh, so I reviewed the cyber-stalking statute as well as corruption by threat of a public servant. I do not believe the facts of this case can constitute cyber-stalking or corruption by threat against a public servant. I believe Jackson's statements made on the post are non-specific and are not intended to persuade or influence Commissioner Sacco's vote or position on any issue. There were no statements by Jackson to commit violence against Sacco's family or property. Jackson's statements do not involve threats of death or great bodily harm to Commissioner Sacco. I emailed ASA Michael Becker with the state attorney's office in order to get a second opinion on whether or not Jackson's Facebook posts or statements in the video would constitute cyber-stalking or corruption by the threat to a public servant. I provided him with the screenshots of the post and some background about the incident. I later received an email from ASA Becker and ASA Heather Jones about this. ASA Heather Jones, the division chief, advised both she and state attorney Brian Kramer reviewed the post and believed the post did not reach the threshold of a criminal act. At this time, there are no criminal charges pending against Shanae Jackson. I attempted to call Commissioner Sacco with this update on 9/15/2021. No response. So he texted her the results of the investigation of his work cell. I verified the identity of Shanae Jackson via Florida DL photo and multiple mugshots. In comparing Jackson's official photos to the person in Shanae Jackson's Facebook page, the Facebook video, live videos, and the person I described, the City Commission Auditorium, I confirmed they are one and the same. Baby, he good if he confirmed that. That got my weight on this damn thing is 146 pounds. I ain't been 146 pounds in at least 15 years, but I'll take it. So, let me tie this all together because y'all know me. That's what I do. It is very ironic that the city manager, again, accused of retaliation, that Raina Sacco stated didn't retaliate against anybody, is retaliating against me, a citizen. I think now it's getting, and let me give you the other puzzle piece. So when all of this shit fell apart, they're still trying to get me trespassed, although they have no grounds. So ask yourself, why is it if it looked like if a direct threat made, it was more direct, it wasn't for me, then why you got all the energy for me? Ask yourself that if I've been clear of anything, why is it that you're still attempting to have me trespassed? Ask yourself. Ask yourself. You know why? Because they know when I come for their ass, I don't come alone. When I come, I'm asking people to come with me. I'm asking people to show up. I'm asking people to keep an eye out. That's the reason that they mad. And the reason that they're mad is because when we show up together and we call in droves, that gives us power. That's why they mad. Because see, if they can discredit me, then they think that they might have a chance to win in 2022. But right now, it ain't looking good for them. Because I've been minding my little business. Every live video been dimming their bullshit. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? But when and then that's the point. Fidel stormed out of a room, but he didn't tell nobody about how angry he was because he's entitled to his anger because he's a white man. Raina sat up there and threw tantrums and they had meltdowns at the vaccine conversation. She threw a tantrum the night that we was there But ain't nobody said nothing because she's entitled to her anger because she is a white presenting Latino. See what I'm saying? So when people say they don't understand what privilege is, that's what it is. They be so cocky and privileged that they willing to jump off a cliff together. That's the point I'm trying to make, y'all. If they can jump off a cliff together and be dead wrong, especially behind Lee Feldman, little turtle looking ass, we definitely can jump off a cliff for what's right and actually get what we need. That's what I got for you. What blows my mind is Raina is supposed to be a lawyer. So if she's a lawyer, why she don't know how to interpret the statutes? If she's a lawyer, why she don't? Because that's the point. Remember what they say. Arrest or charges don't mean you're convicted of anything. So why is it if I've been just arrested or just charged with something and not convicted of anything, you would take that and be able to dictate my character? See what I'm saying? So when people tell you, because even in the city, you know, they have the ban the box. So we will hire people with backgrounds. How is it that they'll be able to get hired if they still got the mindset of people like Raina Sacco who made the decision? See how they do that? They lie to you with all that symbolic bullshit. That's why I keep telling you, I don't give a damn about none of that. They got social justice murals all over the city, but yet we got the largest disparities along race in the entire goddamn state. And we either fourth or fifth in the entire goddamn country. They did all of this to deflect on what the real issues is, and I'm going to bring their ass right back to center. So the issue is not Shanae. Shanae is just a necessary vehicle because they try to shut everybody else up. Shanae is the necessary vehicle because I'm the one that don't subscribe to respectability. I tell you that all the time. Respectability is trying to subscribe to the morals of people who prove every day they ain't got none. Now, I just read y'all the police report. I just read y'all all the energy that they gave. To the point, they're coming for Chief Jones because he refuses to trespass me. He's not refusing to trespass me because, oh, we got some relationship. He's refusing to trespass me because that's his job. There is no grounds and there is no basis. But the fact that they're trying to get me trespassed is the grounds that I need to prove misfeasance and do this recall petition. So I went and got the information that I needed today. I'm going to get with some people after Tuesday because I got to finish an election over here in order to get the petition and stuff drawn up. I've gotten all of the costs. I know what the process is. We're going to get together. We're going to get it set up. That's what we're going to do. So at the end of the day, they can keep wasting their breath. I can't wait to see what it is tomorrow. Probably nothing, because from this point forward, they're not even giving any statements. So now it's the news just talking to me because now they don't even want to talk. But please know, I got a Raina recall folder in my Google Drive. And in there, every article that is posted, I got all of the stuff, now the meltdowns and stuff from meetings and different things like that. I got a list of meetings that I need to go back and watch in order to disseminate stuff. Because that's what I say to when I'm a drag cutting the crosshairs. Because when I lock onto some shit, I don't let go. And by now, I would think that people would have figured that out. I would have thought Gunnar Paulson, Karen Clark, Sadie Darnell. It's too many to even name. But since they don't get it, or they just think it's not them, we're going to show them. I got a list of all of the public records requests that I've already done. I've already let y'all know I'm going to do some more. So we're going to have fun going through for the other folder. We're going to have fun finding out just how much of taxpayers' dollars is wasted at my daddy house. So then we can turn around and talk about that. Then we can talk about other stuff. Because did y'all know that a 12-year-old got shot last night? A 12-year-old got shot. So yes, it looks like they're going to be okay. But that fell upon deaf ears. But even when these things happen, City Manager Lee Feldman know first. Raina Sacco and the commissioners know first. When any of this violence has happened in our own community, what have you seen Mayor Poe, Raina Sacco, Adrian Hayes Santos, David Areola, any of them say? Ask yourself that. But when it was George Floyd, they had all the energy. They got all this and that to say. When there was a guy up at Jacob Blake up in Tacoma, Washington, they had all of that to say. That's why I keep telling y'all. I wrote a whole editorial about solidarity is not enough. Solidarity is bullshit. Y'all need to stop accepting all of this symbolic bullshit and make them be accountable for giving us our just due. They talking sound good for sound bites and literally sit up there and gaslight the people fighting for us, ignore them, demean them, and we leave them in the fight by themselves. It's enough of that. It is time out for that. I done told y'all over and over, where there is people, there is power. Literally what they are doing to me It only lets me know how much power I have that I didn't even know. I don't even move like that. People that deal with me will let you know I'm too humble to even think I got a level of power. What lets me know I have power is when people in positions of power do this. These are moves when you're trying to take somebody that you believe to have power. That's the reason that they ignore everybody else. They don't ignore everybody else and it's just me because I'm so irate and I'm so this and that. It is because they know that I have power. You have people like Debbie Martinez and Ernesto them that call in every goddamn meeting. Nathan Scott be giving them the business. Have you seen them drag Nathan? Have you seen them retaliate? Have you seen them try to file a police report against Nathan? This is going on because I have power. So now, since they let me know that I have power, I'm going to use it. We're going to do that recall petition. I'm going to get it all together. Y'all know me. I'm going to lay it out. That's why I tell y'all to sign up my link tree. I'm going to make sure you have all of the information that you need. Think about what I read to you in the support. Think about all of the microaggressions. Think about all of the stereotypes. Now think about people that you know and love. For them to even feel like it's justified to put in a police report that they're gauging my character by my father's character. And let me be clear. Ain't nothing wrong with my father's character. He's one of the best men that I ever know. And I'm sick of society always trying to make and criminalize our black men. Trying to always take away anything that they have that can help them to build something. You're taking away all of their choices. You're taking away all of their opportunities. And then you want to turn around and tell us about somebody's goddamn character. The one thing about my daddy is, even when he sold dope, he took care of everybody. He took care of us. He took care of his sister's kids. He took care of his friends and their family. He paid grown men light bills, mortgages, and everything else. It never was about my daddy when he sold drugs. He is the person that put into his community. So like I tell anybody, when I lived in Kennedy Homes, I don't have bad memories. There was a sense of community, and anything the community needed, my daddy made sure they had it. So while they want to sit and want to try to come for me as they come for him, one thing about it is my dad is an honest man. Like I told you, I told him not even allow him to go further with the charge with the oxy that he had with his foot before he got the additional amputation. And the reason he stated that he did is because that's the man that he is. He always would tell you, I'm going to lay down and I'm going to drink my medicine. And this is a time he should not have, because he should not have been forced to self-medicate. But even with that, it was on some unjust bullshit. But that's the man that he is. One thing about it is I'm a 42-year-old woman. I talk to my daddy every day. I'm a 42-year-old woman. I know for a fact I can depend on my daddy. How many can say that? I'm a 42-year-old woman. I can talk to my daddy about anything. It's a lot of y'all got daddies around here that you can't even talk to or have a conversation with and got plenty of money. It's a lot of y'all that got daddies that's toxic as hell. My daddy is the type, he don't uphold us in wrong. So please know, if he feels like I'm wrong, he gonna tell me that. That's the reason I'm so good with authenticity and accountability. My daddy never hid anything. He always was real. He's always taken ownership of his mistakes to this day. In every facet, whether it's relationships, whether it's in decisions that's made. And what he does is he pours into my sons to let them know, don't be a knucklehead. Your mom has given you opportunities that we didn't have. We didn't see a way out. That's what we know. I tell anybody with my brother. My brother, they called him the professor. He was so smart in school. But it was in school that literally they took him out of gifted because he was precocious. So because he was precocious and bold, they took opportunities away from him. So then he became disaffected. He became disengaged. You know, my brother never even smoked weed until he got 18 years old. Because once he got out of school, there was nothing for him. So let's sit and talk about that. As that what they want to put in there. Literally, each charge that I told you that I had are all circumstances of poverty. All circumstances of poverty. And unlike many people, when I did get me a couple dollars and some things, I never forgot where I came from. And I fight just that much hard for people to obtain opportunities that I didn't know that I had. Now that I know that they're there, I want my people to have them. That's the reason that you see me fight so hard. That's the reason that you see me go in. That's the reason sometimes y'all see me cry on these damn lives, because I care just like that. Commissioner Johnson cares just like that. Commissioner Duncan Walker cares just like that. I told y'all the other day, representation is action. I don't care what nobody look like. And she always trying to say, well, oh, it's anti-Semitic, it's this, that, and other. I wouldn't give a damn what Lee's religion is. I give a damn what he's done. I told y'all in another video, stop listening to what people say. Stop being upset because somebody called you a name, and stop believing you can trust somebody because they talk good. Watch their actions. Their actions tell it every time. I'm going to leave y'all with that. But I wanted to make sure that I broke that down. So as we know that they're watching my page, tell them to take this video to the bank.